Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. I'm doing an Outlaw Trails role-playing game advice video on beans and bullets. Beans and bullets. Uh, Before I get into this though, if you enjoy my content, it would really help me out if you could hit the like button, subscribe to my channel, share my content on all of your social media platforms, and post a comment or two. Remember, I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. And check me out over on Rumble for my political commentary and weekly current events. God bless President Donald John Trump, and God bless America. If you enjoy a good book, check out my author page on Amazon.com. My pen name is H.L. Anderson. You can find all of my books there, including the tabletop role-playing game Outlaw Trails. This is a family-oriented game. It's made for simplicity and fun. There's not a lot of rules to remember. It's designed so that if you've never played before, you can pick it up and in a couple hours start running games with your friends and family. Hours of fun, and it's just the Old West. You get to run around, go on cattle drives, chase down bank robbers or whatever, or become a bank robber if that's what y'all want to do. It's all in there, and it's just fun for hours and hours of fun. All right, beans and bullets. Here we go. Most of the players I've ever played with in tabletop role-playing games are awesome. The vast majority of players keep careful track of their ammunition, and they know how much ammo they have, how much is loaded in each weapon. Most players are very good about it. The part that many players tend to overlook is what's for dinner. A few players plan ahead, and there's really no problem. They pack along beans and flour and some dried jerky. You can live off of that for a long time. The beans don't go bad. They last a long time. The flour, you can make bread, tortillas, whatever. And dried jerky is good to put in the beans, for flavor. You'd be surprised how many players don't bother with any of that. And then, when the hunting and foraging goes bad, they end up drawing lots for whose horse they're going to butcher, And what's worse, when one or two players plan ahead and the rest don't, it can cause friction in the group. My go-to standard whenever I go into any game, any tabletop role-playing game, not just Outlaw Trails, but Dungeons & Dragons or Recon, whatever, have at least a week's worth of food for yourself. At least. That way, if the hunting is bad or the foraging is bad or whatever, or you don't find another source of food, you've got something to rely on. Okay? That's my standard. Other people go longer, or some people decide just a couple days is good, and whatever you decide is up to you. But whatever decision you make, you have to live with in the game. So keep that in mind. Years ago, I was playing in my friend Larry's game. The group was myself and 5 friends. We were going on a treasure hunt. Earl had come into possession of a treasure map to a hoard of gold in the Rockies, and we all decided to come along to help carry it all out. We'd all get a share. Earl and I splurged on pack animals and beans. John, Dave, Angelo, and Ray bought tons of ammo, and we were off. The first week, all was okay. Ray was able to trap some rabbits, and Angelo shot a big buck. By the end of that week, however, the game had grown scarce. Earl happened to notice that his packs of beans were getting a little lighter and lighter over the time. He finally caught Dave and John pilfering his stores, and he confronted them. The argument in-game was fierce. While they argued, I loaded my food onto my pack animal and saddled my horse. If they had asked, we would have shared, but they just stole the food. That was ridiculous. I led my horses out of camp into the trees just as the gunfire erupted. I tied my horses back into the trees for safety, and then I returned with my rifle to help Earl. He was laying behind a log, reloading his pistol, while Ray, Angelo, and John moved to try to flank him. I shot Angelo through the chest 3 times, and with my rifle, and the rest of them, of course, took cover. I scanned the area and saw Dave was laying in the fire. Earl had made short work of him. The gunfight lasted all night and the next day. Eventually, Earl and I finished off John and Ray. We buried them and took their horses as pack animals. We found the treasure and returned to New Mexico. And our bellies were full when we got back to town. We ate well the entire trip. We were able to hunt as well as having the extra food. It doesn't take a lot to plan ahead, people, but one thing you have to understand when you're going into a remote wilderness, sometimes the game is pretty scarce. Sometimes there's nothing to forage. You cannot eat dirt. You cannot eat rocks. There's no magic in the game, so you can't turn said rocks into something palatable. So just keep that in mind and plan accordingly. Again, my standard is at least a week. But if you're going to play, if you're going for longer than that, then plan accordingly. It's not all about the kill factor. It's about being able to eat. So, yeah. I hope this finds everybody well. You folks have a good one. God bless one and all.